What's going on, fish? Welcome back to your favorite pond. Things probably look a little different. We had to run an audible this week, and I'm joined by a reoccurring co-host of the show, Mr. Matt, on that
Yes,
far
sir.
side as you see in the Cowboys jersey, and a new friend that's going to help us this week, Jason, close friend of ours in the friend group in the fantasy league we always talk about. But yeah, welcome to officially the year anniversary of this podcast. 52nd episode. Pretty fucking crazy that we made it this far. And yeah, we're normal stuff. We'll probably have a bigger celebration next week for when Kevin's back with us. Obviously, he wasn't able to join us this week, so we're improvising. We'll see how this does, but we felt like it was a good way to kind of meet everyone in the middle and still get a podcast episode out. Larger year anniversary celebration next week with old Kev Dog in the normal studio. But for now, I'm joined by Jason and Matt, and we're just gonna roll into it. We did have someone record their voice on SpeakPipe. That will be played next week. As per usual, don't forget you can leave us comments and questions on SpeakPipe. I'll have the link in the description below. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music for whoever on this world uses that. Hey, you can find us there as well. But as usual, just going to be another week, and we're just going to go over some games and just talk football for a little bit. So, hope everyone enjoys. Nevertheless, we'll go ahead and dive into what was Week 9. Houston Texans at the Jets. I can safely say I think the spread favored the Jets in this, and I still didn't think they would be able to do it. Sure enough, they went into New York, or Houston came into New York, and Jets won. Do we finally feel like the Jets are turning the corner on the season? Now that they've added Devontae Adams, Hassan Reddick?
Not at all. I still don't think they're going another 4 or 5 games. No way.
It does
I
feel
think
daunting.
The Texans are without their wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and he's having the little sophomore slump. Like, it's just not. It was just a bad game for the Texans all around, and the Jets squeaked by still.
Yeah, no, it is funny. Mixon had the game that he had, and the Texans still lost, given the Jets defense should be improved with Hassan Reddick back, you'd think. There'd probably be some growing pains, but they kind of tempered Stroud, and that is what it is, I guess. I think everyone's kind of figured out that Stroud, towards the end of the season, when he has to play outside, doesn't quite perform as well as he would in a dome situation across the board, which makes sense. You play in Houston in a dome, and then you have to travel to anywhere else where it's outside, like Lambeau, New York Jets, Cleveland even, and it's a different situation, even though he beat the brakes off Cleveland last year with the old Joe Flacco, but it is what it is. Teams were better. But I really didn't think the Jets were going to pull it off like that. And they already shipped off Mike Williams.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets looked a lot better for their wide receiver. Devontae Adams had his first touchdown as a Jet. Yeah. Garrett Wilson had that insane catch, which probably would have been player of the week if not.
That's true.
Barkley jumped over, did the backwards spin on
backwards
the
hurdle
defender. So, I mean, I thought the Jets looked pretty good. Houston just could not find the end zone.
Except for was it the rookie running back dropping the ball right before he goes in the end zone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Crosley or something like that.
I don't remember his name. Probably will never see his name again after that.
Yeah, kind of surprised we actually didn't see him in Mike Williams as a package deal to the Steelers, but that is crazy to think about. It's finally gelling together, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got hot, but there is a question of if it's too late. It would be the only thing I'd bring up, because you have the Bills in that division.
I'd say it's too late.
Especially with the Dolphins, too, getting healthy. We'll see how that team... We'll get to them later, but crazy stuff. Looking on to the Saints-Panthers game, I mean, can we say the Saints are the worst team in the NFL now?
They're up there.
I think so. I mean, normally they score a ton of points, and it's just like they didn't beat Carolina. Who doesn't beat Carolina,
Yeah. And obviously Chris Olave got medical bald. He'll be watching the Super Bowl from a gurney at some point. But that was Derek Carr's first game back, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Well, you know what? Battle of mid. Congratulations on the Panthers. Bryce Young needed that win.
Is for the rest of this, but
yeah.
Dennis Allen.
Yeah, poor guy. Derek Carr's got him fired twice, but what are you going to do? He should have learned from his mistakes. Fool me twice, shame on me. Commanders beat the Giants. That was a bit closer than I expected. but I don't really think this means much in the whole scheme of things. It's divisional game. You expect those games to kind of be a little bit closer. Dolphins almost beat the Bills in Buffalo. I mean, this, if anything, goes to show me that the Dolphins still have life with Tua back. Just kind of goes to show how bad the backup quarterback play might be on the Dolphins.
Yeah, but
yeah.
After you get
A-Chain was healthy. I don't think
Right.
Tua looked like terrible. I think,
No.
Waddle went down again. Tyreek Hill had a quiet game. I think if the Dolphins just kind of, put the puzzle back together, I think
Right.
they could be a real dangerous team. I mean, the Bills aren't bad. They made the 61-yard field goal to save them from overtime. So, it was an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because Bass was missing most of the day, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a lucky we got it at the end, if I remember that game right.
Yeah, because he missed an extra point, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least.
But that also kind of goes back to the Jets, though. It's like they're finally reaching their form. Is it too late for them to already do it? Because the division, Bills already have a 4 or 5 game lead on them. And the head-to-head on them now. And then the AFC, they're 2 or 3 games out of the wild card already.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you watch those teams score that many points, it's like, I don't know if I really believe the Jets, even if they held the Bills or Dolphins to 28, would be able to do that too. But they have the weapons to do it and the quarterback. So I think those games come the second half of the season will be amazing to watch at the very least.
Yeah.
Chargers absolutely rout the Browns. We're not going to comment on that. That went exactly as I assumed it would, but Chargers have a tougher schedule coming up, so we'll see what that looks like potentially. Titans beat the Patriots.
That was a good game though.
That was an amazing game with no implications except the first pick of the draft.
And Drake May to send it to overtime was beautiful.
Yeah, what a throw.
I think. Yeah, that was a crazy ending, and honestly, I think the Patriots might have found the reincarnate Tom Brady. So we'll see how that goes going forward. They're obviously selling a bunch of pieces on their team. Falcons not barely, because that
it wasn't close.
The score of 27-21 is very misleading to what that game really was.
Cowboys and scrap time is the best team in the NFL.
It is crazy to me though that did come down to a possession.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me, I would have guessed 27-7. But nevertheless, Cowboys will have some questions going forward. We might have a old Kev Meister rant part 2 coming up next week. Stay tuned. We'll see.
I'll leave it for him because he's going to have fun after the Eagles game goes through. So
exactly. And the Falcons also kind of coming into form, but injuries taking them a little bit by storm as well.
Yeah, but they're looking good. They have the 2 games head-to-head over the Bucs now in their division, so they should easily win through that division.
I would assume. It won't even be a question. They'll have time to rest. Was it Drake London that got hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll have time to rest him. I bet he'll be back at some point. Going on to the Bengals Raiders. Oh,
Dak and CD also got hurt.
Dak and CD, and Micah was still out, I believe, too.
Yeah,
I'm kind of leaving the. Hey, prayers up for the boys. They'll be back.
One day.
America's team will be revenged.
We couldn't win this year. There's that curse of no team wins this division 2 years in a row. So next year, we fluke this year. So now we can win next year. It's part of the plan, honestly.
It was tactical. It was planned.
Jerry's all in for next year's Super Bowl run.
Exactly. Moving on to the Bengals Raiders. Bengals took care of the Raiders. I mean, if anything, this gives the Bengals that momentum they needed, maybe to start something. I mean, not only did they beat them, but they beat the offensive coordinator out of Las Vegas. So badly they rehired Norv Turner, ex-Raiders head coach, ex-Chargers head coach. We'll see if that helps them, but quite frankly, I don't think anything's helping that team this season. I think the Raiders are kind of donezo, and the Bengals might be coming into second half form as we've seen in the past. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that or not, but
yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow, he had 5 touchdowns, 250 yards. I think he now leads the NFL in pass attempts within the 20-yard line. So they're definitely moving to throw heavy without Joe Mixon. I think he's still trying to save the season. As a Bengals fan, I don't think it's savable, but I love that he's, he was pissed off when they were up by
still out there.
21, he's still not giving up on his team. So I like that out of my quarterback for sure.
No doubt, especially with how rough the season started. If you finish strong, you never know.
Yeah.
The AFC is open for what it's worth. There are so many teams that are, was it 2-9?
Mm-hmm.
Just 2-win teams.
I think they're a game or two out of the playoff picture now.
I think it's Chargers, Colts, Bengals, and maybe one other AFC team, maybe the Jets. But there's 4 in there that are pretty interchangeable.
Right now, the Broncos, the Chargers, and Broncos, I can't remember the last team. Ravens, just the Ravens.
Oh, that's right, because they're not winning the division.
Yeah, the Steelers are winning the division. That's what it was.
That's so fucked up, man.
So the Bengals are 1 game behind. They're tied with the Colts, 1 game behind the Broncos right now.
Good Lord. But that is a nice segue into... Yeah, it is very doable. It's open, I swear. Ravens took care of the Broncos. They went in their trap, took over their trap. But we got a Philly special out of it, so I wouldn't say it was a complete loss of a game. That was pretty impressive. Another, rookie quarterback that's looking good.
That's when the game was close, too, so it was actually exciting.
Yeah, the score doesn't really show that Bo Nix had a good game by any means, but in general, I'd say he's doing well as a rookie quarterback. But then again, you go to the Cardinals-Bears game, and Bears get absolutely throat-goated by the Cardinals, and Caleb Williams and the Bears are not looking too crazy right now.
And then the next 8 weeks are hell, so...
Yeah, their
6 divisional games, the Niners and the Seahawks.
Yeah, their schedule does not get easier. It was a good underpick by you and I, Matt, on the rest of their season for wins. Sure. And I'll leave it at that, because the Cardinals kind of are getting hot. They're looking like a legit team. Beat the Chargers, beat the Bears. I can't remember who else they played around there, but they're doing what they have to. So
they beat the Niners, I believe, too.
I think you might be right. Yeah. So Cardinals might be a team to watch for sneaking into the NFC. Eagles, Jaguars. Eagles took care of business. Obviously, Saquon looked like a damn god as we expected, but they still almost blew the game. That is a reoccurring theme, it feels like, this year with this Philadelphia Eagles team, as they can't just keep the lead going through the 4th quarter. And to potentially give it up and only win by 5 to the Jaguars of all teams, not looking great. Looking like Commanders might come to the NFC East and just rail everyone, potentially.
Well, you of all people should know the Jaguars are never out of a football game.
Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong, but this team is not that team. They are not him. Trevor Lawrence made it. He did his thing. He has a playoff win, and now they're there. All right. Rams Seahawks overtime thriller. Rams win. Another team came to Seattle and killed them. I don't know what to make of the Seahawks. I thought they were pretenders, but now I feel like I definitely know that it's Geno Smith football. DK's out though, obviously.
Yeah, but JSN pulled better numbers than DK has all year, and they still lost.
Crazy game out of him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He was basically the only player on that team at a couple points.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? The NFC West is always a clusterfuck of teams just trying to make it. It always blows my mind what that looks like. Lions go into Green Bay, and, they do the thing. They get ejected right out of the gate of the game, and then pick 6, and then from there on out, it felt like Jordan Love was still kind of hurt, and the Lions did what they had to. The Lions are just the Lions. I don't know which team or who is going to stop them come playoffs, at least on the NFC side right now.
I don't think it's anywhere close to any. The Lions aren't close to any other team.
And they did this without Jameis Williams, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was still suspended.
And basically without Branch.
Yeah.
Because he was gone really early, so.
I appreciate that he went out swinging, though. I mean, I think he flipped off the crowd on his way out and got an additional penalty or something like that.
On the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out hard, and I feel like that's exactly what he did. Looking at the Colts-Vikings, that was a terrible game to have to wait for all Sunday. Didn't enjoy that one too much. Vikings won, but it wasn't impressive by either team, I think, at the first half at least. I think things lit up a little bit in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But
for the Vikings, I think the only touchdown the Colts had was a defensive scoop and score or pick 6 or something.
I think it was.
Oh, you're so right.
Yeah, I was saying Joe Flacco did nothing that game.
Yeah, that was a bit rough. That was hard to watch. 3 interceptions between the both of them, but that's all part of the fun. That's why we watch Sunday Night Football, baby.
It's that Vikings defense. I don't know where they came from, but they look so good this season.
Yeah. And I think they had a huge injury a few weeks ago too, and if he comes back, that would be back to the first 4 weeks defense, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Kudos to the Vikings for figuring out with Sam Darnold. I do enjoy watching him be good. It's refreshing to see one of these bust quarterbacks, quote unquote bust quarterbacks, go to a team that believes in him, and he does fine. So gives hope a little bit to Bryce Young potentially, but who knows? Now Monday Night Football this week was absolutely electric. I mean, so just what we expected with the outcome we didn't want. We got an overtime Buccaneers at Chiefs. Should have gone for 2 in my opinion. If you're playing Patrick Mahomes, we'll get to that in a second, but nevertheless, Mahomes pulls it off in the end and they score and end of the game 30-24 Chiefs. How do you guys feel? Would you guys have gone for the 2?
You should have gone for 2.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough because the Bucs are they're just so low on wide receivers right now. So it's like,
right.
Are you going to give it to Bucky or Rashad, or you're going to try and throw it to like Otten in the end zone?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like all of their like 2-point conversion plays, it would just be kind of, you would see that all over the news headlines if they went for 2 and they didn't make it against that great Chiefs defensive line. So, they were playing any other team. And if they were playing at home, I think they could have easily gone for it and gotten the win.
I agree. I feel like it's kind of the battle of you can't win this argument to some extent if you're the Bucs head coach. It's not Todd Bowles, is it? Or whoever it is. If you go for 2 and you get it, you look like a genius. If you go for 2 and you don't get it, you look like a moron. But if you just kick the point after, you're then assuming that if Patrick Mahomes gets the ball first, he won't do what he just did, being Patrick Mahomes with that just Andy Reid. So I get why he didn't. I would have done it only because the Chargers' wins against the Chiefs over the last couple years have come down to just trying it. Because if you don't get the ball first in overtime, you're going to lose that.
Yeah. Which those are the worst rules that need to change, but
I still think the playoff and the regular season,
they need to go to college overtime rules,
rules for sure.
College rules for the NFL would be electric. I would be all for that every day of the week. All right, so that's kind of glanced over all the games. I didn't intend to, but you know what? We hit them all. Fuck it, why not? Okay, so we have our November award, ladies and gentlemen. I know everyone looked forward to Spooktober. It's now over. It's come and gone. You've gotten your candy. You've done your trick-or-treating. It's time for the Terrific Turkey Award. Now, this award's going to change its name every week because I don't like any of them that I've come up with so far. But opposed to what we did for October, this one is going to be positive. And then, maybe in December we'll have like Dick Me Down December and it'll just be like the worst play of the week or something. But for now, we're going back to goods because we're thankful. It's Thanksgiving's a thankful season. I can't do bad players in a thankful month. So this player is on a team that Matt probably hates. This player, I think, has been featured on Angry Runs a couple times. He had one of the craziest moves I think we've seen in the NFL in quite some time. And it wasn't a catch. No. The Terrific Turkey Award this week, week 1, the first ever winner of this award, goes to Saquon Barkley for that absolute dog hurdle that he had. I cannot imagine what that Jaguars player felt like watching 2 cheeks fly by him in reverse.
As right after a spin move for a 10-yard rush.
Continued to go. I would like to award Saquon Barkley with the Terrific Turkey Award.
I ain't clapping for an eagle.
There's nothing the defender could have done. I mean, how do you defend somebody that just like topples you? I mean, he just like his back was to him. He was like, all right, this is probably going to be an easy tackle. And all of a sudden he jumps him.
Yeah, it jumps him backwards. I mean, that, I don't know, other than just like throwing your body at him and watching him in the eyes, I don't know what else you could have done in that situation. He was having himself a week. I don't want to say he's been spotty, but it feels like some weeks he has these weeks, and other times he's been a little bit more conservative on what his play is. But nevertheless, he had that week against the Jaguars, and they're looking just fine. I will admit, I think it's hilarious all of the hate Sirianni's getting, and they're 6-2, I think, or whatever their record is at this point.
5-3, I believe.
Are they 5-3?
6-2. You're right.
6-2.
Yep.
I just find it hilarious that Sirianni gets as much hate as he does, even though he was also yelling at fans when they said just run the damn ball. So that is what it is. Trade deadline finished up this week. We had some pretty big trades. I don't know what you guys thought were the most impactful. I definitely thought, though, Marshawn Lattimore going to the Commanders from New Orleans is a huge pickup for the Commanders. I don't remember off the top of my head what they gave up, but it was a great trade. New Orleans is in a place now that they got rid of their head coach, and that team's going in the distance it is. I find it to be awesome for the Commanders to get someone in the secondary that can help the entire defense as a whole.
I'm just sad that we're going to lose the Mike Evans and Lattimore feud every time they play.
That is a good point. Now, does Tampa Bay play the Commanders? Well, Mike Evans might be in at some point this season. So,
Yeah.
If Tampa Bay and the Commanders played each other, then we got it one more time for old time's sake. But I agree that's definitely a loss. But that Saints team needs to be liquidated. It feels like they've kind of jumped ship.
Yeah, I think since they fired Dennis Allen, I think that was a pure the Commanders we'll help you guys, give you a chance to make the Super Bowl while we just are gonna rebuild kind of trade.
Yes. And they got what they wanted. I mean, these trades, a lot of these players, you didn't give up any more than a 5th round, maybe a 6th, maybe a 7th, or a combination of a 6th and 7th with different years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I don't know why more teams didn't do it, but who knows what these general managers and owners are thinking when they see who's available and for what cost. Jason, how do you feel about Khalil Herbert to Cincinnati?
I honestly like him. I honestly haven't seen Khalil Herbert play in a while since he's been off an injury, but with Zach Moss is pretty much going to be done for the season. I think Herbert will be a great, pick to put in there if Chase Brown is having kind of a slump or makes a big run. But Chase Brown's 100% our RB1, so I'm kind of interested to see how Herbert, if he plays a role or if he's just pure backup material.
I'd agree with that. I think he's going to be great on Cincinnati. I don't think they gave up too much for him either. And frankly, with how that Bears team's been, as we talked about a little bit earlier, I think Khalil Herbert tweeted out, "Thank God" when he got traded. So at the very least, you're getting a happy running back, and that'll go the distance if you're looking just to add pieces. Was there anybody you thought the Bengals might get?
No, I was really focused on T. Higgins maybe getting traded for a 1st or 2nd rounder, just because there was so much buzz about him not even playing at the beginning of the season. But I know Cincinnati was also trying to improve on our defensive side since we've been sucking so much. And so many injuries on our defensive line. So I was really hoping, I kept checking Twitter of, Bengals are going to make a late move here for a cornerback or a DL, and they just never did. So I was kind of disappointed that never happened, but I mean, I'll still take
it with that. Yeah, I guess it's better than nothing. I agree though. If you put someone on the defensive line with Trey Hendrickson though, that would have been so cool to watch because he's a freaking beast. Right now, especially.
I think he leads the league in sacks now, right?
He does, yeah.
It's just a damn legend. It's a shame, but Bengals are getting hot second half, so I'm not counting them out. And the Chargers and Bengals now have that primetime game next Sunday night, which horrifies me, except for it's at LA, so the homeless camp will be thriving out in the parking lot. Trying to think if there's anything else we needed to cover. Typical Bears hate. We gotta throw it out there. Sorry, Carl, from Rack. He's a big Bears fan, and I don't know how much he watches this podcast anymore. Now that I'm thinking about that, nevertheless, hopefully Caleb Williams and Matt Eberflus figure it out. I'm assuming Eberflus won't be there much longer, personally, but there's some games coming up. Maybe they'll sneak a couple here and there. Matt, is there anything I forgot to hate on this week?
Not hate on. I was gonna say the one thing you didn't mention was the Lions getting the pass rusher Smith.
Oh yeah, it's Darius Smith. Yeah, thank you.
I was saying that's a huge pickup for Detroit.
Yeah, because I think the stat was they haven't had any pressures on the QB since Hutchinson's gone out.
Yeah, because both their pass rushers are out. So now it's their 3rd string pass rusher, and now they just got Smith.
that's going to be huge. I mean, that team's only getting better.
I mean, he's a little older, but I mean, I think he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. Like, he still can get the job done.
Oh, he was a huge piece of that Cleveland defensive line.
Yeah.
So that was huge. Lions are going to lion. I would assume they're going to plug and play him quite quick, and that's just going to be how it is. I'm excited. I'm excited for that Lions team, mostly because I have that bet going. But because of that bet, yeah. Because of that, now I'm closet one of the biggest Lions fans there is, assuming they don't play the Chargers, which this year I don't think. So, nevertheless, I guess. Oh, okay. I guess we go ahead and get into Week 10.
Forgot about
anything else I'm forgetting?
Jonathan Mingo getting traded.
Oh, huge.
Oh, Matt.
Honestly, trade of the week.
Matt tried to let us gloss over this.
Trade of the week, honestly.
You know,
I can't wait to watch Trey Lance throw him the ball.
Should be dynamic for years to come. If there was, I wish there was. I came up with an award for this, but nevertheless, what was his name? Jonathan Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo, yeah. I mean, he was a second or third round draft pick rookie this year, and I believe the Cowboys got him for a 6th or a 7th, and they got an additional pick for him too. So I mean, if CD's hurt or they just need a good slot receiver, I think Mingo will actually do pretty well for the Cowboys. But we'll see. He's a rookie. He's a development player.
I don't think it's the worst pick.
Flashy. Yeah,
it's not the worst pickup. It's just this point in the season where CD's potentially hurt, Dak's potentially hurt. We're 3-5. It's not like maybe you try to make a move for someone earlier in the year, it'd be different. But doing it this late or like halfway through the season where you're already in a rough spot just kind of seems half-assed. But I mean, it could be good in the future. As you said, he is a rookie, so.
I mean, I think if anything, it was the fact that DeAndre Hopkins got traded to the Chiefs. Devontae Adams got traded to the Jets for one of them was a 5th round, one of them was a 6th round, and you got this Carolina Panther for a 4th round pick, which is a little bit of Jerry World-esque type of beat. But
we'll have to see how it plays out before I judge it.
He's a younger guy, so maybe in a lot of GM's heads, that's where the value is, which I'd get. I'm a dude in a room with a podcast that has 80 subscribers, which thank you, by the way, you lovely people. But nevertheless, a little suspect.
At least they participated in all the trading. I thought they were going to sit out again.
Yeah, they didn't want to do it in the off season because why would they? So they waited until literally the deadline to finally get a receiver. So
I feel like I'm beating my official co-host in, just clowning on the Cowboys constantly. But
so pretty sure
sorry, Kevin, if you're listening to this.
Biggest thing in the off season was re-signing our center, and the biggest news this year was overpaying Dak. So it's been a great year.
What if this is all a conspiracy to get McCarthy fired quick?
I wish we didn't spend that much money on Dak still, but
well,
he can be gone for another 4 years.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to dive into it too deep.
Okay,
Kevin's going to text me as we're recording.
Kevin go.
Yeah. Nevertheless, this week, Thursday Night Football. As you all know, Coy Pond pick is now to 4-5. We've made some ground back. We need to get even this week. We have Cincinnati at Baltimore. At the time of me kind of recording the spreads and over-unders, Baltimore was favored by 6.5. The over-under is 52.5. This will be an interesting game for a lot of reasons. In the past, Cincinnati, these games have gone over a lot. Now, you could argue, too, that Baltimore doesn't do a great job against QB pressures. Trey Hendrickson's been doing an amazing job at pressuring the QB. But, I don't think Bengals' pass defense has been nuts, and the Ravens have given up a lot of points towards the end of the game and in general. I have no idea where to go with this game on the over-under. But because of that, and I'm a shy man, Jason will be picking the Coy Pond pick of the week over-under at 52.5 as the honorary guest of the week.
I honestly feel like 52 is a great line, but I'm going to hammer the over here. I think Joe Burrow is going to have another great touchdown game. I think Derrick Henry is going to run all over us. Lamar is even going to run all over us.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be no defense, all offense, and finally, hopefully, an exciting Thursday night football game. So As a Bengals fan, I got a lot of worries, but also they're beatable. And you never know if Joe Burrow snaps into his 2019, 2020 self and just comes out and surprises everybody. But Lamar's been on a run, Derrick Henry's been on a run, and Zay Flowers has been on a run. So those are my three that I'm worried about. But I think most of the time it's going to be an over for this game.
I would agree with that. I think, both these teams know each other well. Cincinnati and Baltimore both trending back into that, their offensive juggernauts once again. Cincinnati doesn't have T. Higgins, but I mean, if anything, Joe Burrow has shown he will pass to every goddamn receiver on that field if he has to. I don't think that's a ginormous problem. Obviously, if he was out there, that's nice to have. And, to the same extent, Baltimore has given up fourth quarters a little bit here and there, given they didn't against the Broncos, but that's a rookie quarterback with a team that's pretty much lost all offense.
Did it against the Browns.
Yeah. And that, Browns lost to that, and, their receivers dropped open balls at the end of that game that they should have been able to seal the deal with. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this game is exciting in the sense that we finally get a Thursday night game that you want to watch until that fourth quarter hits 0. I'm really hoping the Bengals pull this off, and I think, there's a chance. The spread's 6.5. I don't really love that. I'm not going to lie. I think this game could be a lot closer than that.
Oh.
I could see it more in the field goal range myself. I don't know, Matt, if you have any notes on this.
Oh, when they played earlier in the year, they scored a total of 79 points, and it was overtime. Mm-hmm. So if it's anything like that again.
I feel like they've got a split, and I feel like Cincinnati's due for one. I won't lie. Who knows, though?
McPherson has to make his field goals. With T out, Gesicki's going to have hopefully another good game. We lost our rookie tight end, Eric All. He, I think, tore his ACL, so he's done. So I think they're just going to double team Chase. So we'll see how many receivers Joe Burrow can find, because I think he's going to spread the field a lot.
I agree. And I don't know, does anybody know if Khalil Herbert's going to play in this game? Is that too close? Getting traded on a Tuesday for a Thursday game?
I do not know yet.
As soon as he got traded, the Bengals released like a hype video, and he was already in Cincinnati like an hour after the trade had happened. So I think they were expecting him to come, but I don't really know how many touches he'll get just because Chase Brown has been so dominant and so well. So like I said earlier, true. I think if Chase Brown has like a long run or gets tired, they'll stick Herbert in for a first down run.
Hey, new guy in a new place. That may not make the difference in the whole game, but that might lead to some better plays down the road for the passing game too, to be honest. Should be an exciting game to watch nonetheless. I mean, Thursday nights recently have not been amazing, so I'm very excited for this game in particular.
Herbert is projected 3 total fantasy points, so he might play, but not much.
So we're seeing maybe a certain amount. That makes sense. 2 days with a team. I can't imagine that's exactly he'll be the workhorse. Nevertheless, though, I'll keep us moving. Oh, go ahead, Jace. You had some?
No, I mean he's a running back, so it's not like he has to learn routes and everything.
Right. Exactly.
It's a short playbook for them.
Left, right, up the middle, inside, outside.
It'll be interesting to see if he's even used, if the Bengals even look good. I could totally see it flopped either way. It really just depends who shows up.
I'd agree with that. Nevertheless, I'll keep this train moving so I don't keep you guys too much longer. Next game, we've got Giants at Carolina. Giants favored by 5.5, over under 41.5.
Germany game.
Oh, this is the Germany game.
This is the Munich game.
Reparations.
Yeah.
Welcome to the NFL Germany. You got Tom Brady 1 year, and now you get the bottom of the 30 and 31 as the Saints have taken 32nd, but this game might suck. I don't even want to pick anything on this game, to be honest, given that it's in Germany.
The Giants are at home, so I'm going to choose the Giants.
Germany's for them. Jason, you have a feeling either way on this one?
Honestly, I think I'm going to go Giants too. This is probably going to be one Sunday morning game that I'm going to sleep through and not even bother. But I think Neighbors is due for a game. He's been so bad recently, but I think it's just because Daniel Jones has been bad too.
Right.
So it's like, we'll see how the jet lag does for everybody, but I'm sure this will be low scoring, kind of boring, but I think the Giants will come out with it.
All right, you know what? You guys convinced me. We're a team ride the Giants. Why the hell not? Of course, Daniel Jones would throw 5 touchdowns in Munich. New England at Chicago. Chicago favored by 6.5. Over unders 38.5. I don't know, with the Chicago team probably jumping ship at this point and praying their agents gets them traded. I don't really know what to expect here. Kind of back-to-back dumpster fires of games. New England hasn't looked terrible. They haven't obviously really won, but Chicago's been hurting, given more than likely Chicago's defense will do just fine against Drake May and, was like Bourne and Mario Douglas and a few other wide receivers on New England. Maybe Ramondre Stevenson has a great game here. Chicago's defense again isn't bad, but that offense has looked iffy recently. Fuck, I really don't know what to do.
I think futures.
The Chicago Bears defense, I think, will probably win them this game. I don't think Chicago's offense is that good, but the way that New England's just been playing, I still think the Bears are going to be good enough. Hunter Henry could have a huge game, I think, is the one player to look out for.
That's right.
Or Austin Hooper.
Yeah. I think I give this one to Chicago, though. They're at home. I don't think a lot of people have hope in either team to do too well, but I'm sure Caleb Williams might short his stuff out and figure out how to win.
I agree. Matt, what do you think?
I mean, the Bears should have won the Hail Mary game, got blown out last week, and now they know their next 8 games are going to be tough, so they know this is a must-win game. The Patriots already don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, so I think the Bears coming with a chip on their shoulder, so I think the Bears have to win it, and the Patriots don't really care to win it.
That's probably true. The Patriots want that first overall pick.
Yeah.
Definitely the Bears. San Francisco at Tampa Bay. San Francisco favored by 5.5. Over under 50.5. I mean, this game, I feel like San Francisco has to get back on track. Tampa Bay's hurt. That last game they lost in overtime to the Chiefs is has to be soul crushing, to be completely honest. Given it is at Tampa Bay, I feel like San Francisco, again, has to start winning games or else the NFC West is going to get away from them. I think this might be a get-right game with Christian McCaffrey being back potentially.
Yep.
He may not be running back. He might not have the load that we expect. I don't know personally at this moment, but I have to assume San Francisco wins this game.
Yeah, CMC being back is going to be huge. I think Mason actually got, still kind of banged up from his injury. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, they have that that third guy.
A third string, he's a dog as well.
Yeah, Orendo or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll just be if Baker can actually show out. I still think 49ers defense is strong. So with CMC back, you never know. I think he could come back fully healthy and have a great game.
Yeah, and I think they also traded for someone this week as well. I don't think it was necessarily a starting player, but it was a defensive player. So I feel like San Francisco is just trying to get back in the saddle of that division personally. So I'm personally going to go San Francisco. I bet you they can cover the 5.5. That's a weird number to put out there anyway. Tampa Bay probably needs another week and then reassess with injury, maybe is the best way to put it. On to Denver. You had something, Matt, for that game?
Oh, no, it's good. I was just saying I'd take the Bucs over the Niners.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Baker's been looking incredible this year. The Niners usually has a really good defense. Their defense hasn't looked great this year. If they do try to play McCaffrey, he just came off of such a long injury, he could get hurt again, or he's going to be limited workload. Jordan Mason's hurt as well. So, I don't know. I think it leads to the Bucs, and it's at home, and the Bucs also need to win too, because they're not out of playoffs contention at all. And
it'll be a good game for sure.
I think it'll be close.
Interesting. Well, noted. Denver at Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 8.5. Over under 41.5. 8.5 feels like a lot, but again, this is probably just going to be a defensive battle of the AFC West. I'm curious to see how Bo Nix does against Chris Jones and not Snead, but whoever they got in the backfield now. You have to assume Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes had that little ankle issue at one point in the game, but I can't imagine that really was anything drastic. I just Kansas City to win only because he just wanted some airtime. They wanted to give Carson Wentz the thought that he was about to go in. But now that they have D-Hop too, Kansas City passing-wise doesn't look like a problem as long as Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw an interception.
I really just think it's going to come down to Chiefs one-possession game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Broncos look fine.
I don't think so either.
I just think it's going to be
The script just has the Chiefs winning. I hate to say it, but I think the NFL wants the Chiefs to push towards an undefeated season, another Super Bowl win. I just think it's going to be hard to try and beat them.
If there was a team to beat the Chiefs, though, and somehow beat the Broncos, they'd go through the Bengals, go through the Ravens, go through all these teams, and then bang, Bo Nix comes out slinging it. But I'd take the Chiefs.
I think the same thing. I don't know if it'll be a great game to watch. I think it's going to be kind of boring to watch, but who knows?
Be a good first half
at this point. Yeah, we had them. It was 10-10, and then the Chiefs won 40-10. No, I'm just kidding. But Buffalo at Indy. Buffalo favored by 4.5. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. I was already thinking to myself, I don't know if Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco is starting, but frankly, I don't know if it could matter. Yeah,
I don't think it does either.
I think Buffalo's probably going to run train on Indy, personally.
Bills by 14.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that one might be a mismatched spread a little bit. I don't know if you guys have a different opinion for Indy, but, it's an indoor stadium. I don't know. Indy hasn't looked amazing to me.
No, Colts defense just did not look good at all last week. I think Josh Allen's going to have another great, probably 25, 30-point fantasy game ahead of him. James Cook will just run through them like he has been all the season. If the Colts can't find their quarterback, they're not going to be a good team. So it's kind of hard to win games if you can't find the end zone.
Yeah, I completely agree. Pittsburgh at Washington. Washington favored by 3. That one intrigues me.
Give me the commies.
I love Washington at home, but that Pittsburgh defense, if Jane Daniels already a little bit hurt, the Pittsburgh Steelers damage quarterbacks.
That's true.
And I'm not wishing that Jane Daniels gets hurt by any means, but if there's a defense that was gonna do it and re-aggravate a rib injury, it'd be T.J. Watt coming at you 90 miles an hour through the A-gap. But I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh's offense the last 2 weeks has looked amazing with Russell Wilson back in the reins, and now they just added Mike Williams. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I think Tomlin gets more out of Mike Williams than he did with the Jets. I think, personally, Mike Williams just didn't gel with the Jets for whatever reason. And I think he'll be on a mission to prove something with Pittsburgh. However, that Commanders offense is beyond, just kills everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think that Brian Robinson Jr. should be coming back this week too, right?
He might be. I'm not 100%.
When he was healthy, he was playing amazing. He was playing amazing when he was healthy, so I really think it comes down to that. Because if they don't do that, they don't really have much of a run game.
Yeah, Lord knows Eckler.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be a great game to watch, though. I could see that game going either way. Personally hope Commanders win, but, Pittsburgh's Pittsburgh. Tomlin finds a way. For all we know, they're going to do halftime, and then Justin Fields comes out.
Before the season started, if you asked me if I was excited for a Commander-Steelers game, I would have told you fuck no.
100% agree. Quite the topsy-turvy. Minnesota at Jacksonville. Minnesota only favored by 4.5. I think the Jaguars are riddled with injuries right now, aren't they?
Yeah, their whole wide receiver core
they're all gone.
Was questionable last week, so I mean, I think Evan Ingram may have been questionable again too.
I think he might have gotten hurt. I know Christian Kirk's obviously hurt. Trevor Lawrence is probably partially hurt. That defensive line's
Thomas
not
was
bad.
dealing with something too.
Yep.
That's right. So, I mean, off of that alone, I'd probably take Minnesota personally at 4.5. That feels like a little bit of a steal. I get it; they're traveling across the U.S. for this game, so that might be a factor a little bit. And outside in Florida, maybe. I don't know, but I feel like Minnesota is a way more complete team right now than Jacksonville does.
And we were just praising their defense, so their defense going up against no offensive players on the Jags. So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. I don't know if you guys have any other opinions on it, but
ETN should be fully back now. I think Bigsby was questionable today from practice, but I mean, I don't really have faith in ETN like everybody did at the beginning of the season. I think I would rather play Tank, but who knows? Trevor Lawrence is probably going to have another 3 or 4 interception game. Justin Jefferson is probably going to have 150 yards. I just don't think the Jags are going to be able to hang with either of Minnesota's offense or defense.
I agree personally. Matt, do you have any opinion one way or another?
Not really.
This is kind of one of those games. Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta's only favored 3.5. Drake London did get hurt. Most of the Saints players are hurt, and they don't have a head coach now. I would probably just go with Atlanta and just assume this is going to be a Kyle Pitts masterclass, but who knows? Maybe Bijan shows up. It's divisional, I agree. Those are always closer in general. But I can't say I'm exactly excited for this game. It'll be on the old Red Zone network, and we'll see who scores.
Yep, that's about all I watch.
Yeah, about Bijan, I think Bijan and maybe even Mooney are the only two that I think will have good games. Kamara will probably have another good game, but it's like I don't even know if this is going to be a high-scoring, low-scoring game. Who knows who even comes out? So it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think it'll be a fun game to really zone into and watch.
I agree, and I feel the same way about the upcoming game, Tennessee Titans at the Chargers. After watching the Chargers get routed by Titans last year, I have no good feelings about this game in particular. Chargers are favored by 7.5. I don't know what to think, other than maybe just the under 37.5. In my head, Chargers should win this by 14, but what's really going to happen is it's going to come down to a field goal that they squeak by, and then all of a sudden they drop in the power rankings. There's a couple hurt players on the Chargers. Off the top of my head, I think it's Fehoko and Junior Colson on the defense. Obviously, the defense should just catch every ball Will Levis throws, and it shouldn't even be a close game.
Is Levis back?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, do they have a different quarterback in?
It was Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah, take Titans. Take the Titans.
I don't know. The Titans haven't looked that great. The Lions dismantled them, and then who they beat last week? The Patriots in overtime?
Yeah, the overtime Patriots.
Yeah,
I have
I'm
PTSD
picking the Chargers on this one, buddy.
I feel wrong saying the Chargers.
And they just did their wide receiver one go down too? Was it Ridley or Kirk? Or it was one of the Jaguars, wasn't it?
I think Ridley might have been partially hurt.
Yeah. I think Ridley, I think he went out but came back in towards the end of the game. I know Spears is expected to be back, and Pollard didn't practice today, but I'm sure it was just a celebrity injury of I'm not practicing on a Wednesday. So I don't even know what to think about this. I think I actually have more faith in the Chargers and the Titans. They just don't look like a coordinated football team really at all, but it's also the Chargers, as you know, Colin.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Any week. I guess in Harbaugh we trust, but I guess we'll take Chargers. Should be Chargers. Jets at Arizona. Jets favored by 1.5. Arizona's looked hot. It is the Jets. You would assume they mesh a little bit more this week given they are on the road, but nevertheless, it is also the Jets, and Arizona's looked hot. I don't know what to make of this game in the slightest. This should be a good game, but this could also be a lot of nothing. Kyler Murray's had his up and down weeks. Aaron Rodgers has definitely had his down weeks. I can't say I'm thrilled for this game. I don't even know if I want to give a pick out for this. I'd probably just go Arizona with the points at home just because they're getting them.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't think the Jets have really meshed enough. They still don't look that good even when they won. The Cardinals are starting to find for them. I can't believe the Cardinals are underdogs here.
That's kind of where I was thinking, just from a value standpoint. Now, I could see Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams going off on their secondary because, Arizona just got done beating Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
But, nevertheless, I don't think either of these teams have necessarily given us a reason to, assume a blowout.
I think it'll be actually a decent game. I mean, now that Double XP weekend for Call of Duty is over, Kyler Murray should be back. Hopefully he can find Marvin Harrison, because Marv hasn't really shown out at all this season. That was shocking for me. He had such high hopes. James Conner, I think, was in kind of dealing with something too, so that's why they're using like 2 or 3 running backs. I mean,
so they have that Benson, who's pretty good. I think, is he a rookie? He's pretty good.
He's looked really good.
Yeah.
I remember when we were watching that, he had a couple big runs in there, kind of similarly to the 49ers third string running back.
Yeah.
Just taking off for no reason other than just to take off.
Trying to earn his
nevertheless,
spot.
that'll be a good game. Yeah, no kidding. Makes sense now.
I will not be talking about this one.
Game of the week, Philadelphia at the Dallas Cowboys. Philly -7. You know, I think we have the script already based on all the games we've seen this year.
Cooper Rush 400 yards, 5 tutties.
Potentially. Might be split with Trey Lance, but I think what's going to happen is Philly goes up 35-7, and then the fourth quarter the Cowboys come back and it's 35-28.
With Mingo 3 touchdowns, 2 catching, 1 rushing.
Right, Mingo masterclass. It's Mingo worthy all of a sudden because he's the quickest guy out there. I really think though this is going to be a initial lead by the Eagles that's followed up with a catch up by the Cowboys for a backdoor cover. It's Sirianni. He's going to get it in his own head about this game, and McCarthy's just trying to keep his job, so he'll be all for the scrap points. Just my opinion.
I mean,
we'll see if CD even plays.
Yeah.
If CD doesn't play, you might as well roll over. It's
the
you
best
guys
part
aren't
about
gonna win.
The best part about this game is I have no faith in the Cowboys in this game. So if they somehow miraculously win, it's amazing.
Pleasantly surprised.
But if they don't, I can't be hurt this week. This is a bye week that just goes 0-1 to me.
I think that's fair. I don't know what to expect other than that. You know what? We'll see. I guess we'll see.
Ask Kevin next week.
Yeah, we'll see how the next week get our reaction to the, whatever that score was.
We'll get another rant out of Kev, I'm sure.
You'll be receiving a phone call with a little message.
No kidding. Detroit at Houston, Sunday Night Football. Detroit favored by 3.5. Williams will be back. I think this week Collins will be back as well for Houston. Diggs obviously won't be coming back. You know, this is going to be a battle that I kind of assume Detroit's going to win by 7. They've been just such a juggernaut that I just don't see a way that Houston keeps up with them other than the distance traveled. It's a dome team versus a dome team. Jared Goff should pass for 300 yards, honestly.
Yeah. Or 85 and 5 touchdowns.
True, he could have a perfect game again.
The Texans,
you're not wrong.
People have been saying the Texans have been fraudulent this year, and I think this is their first big test. Can they keep up with another juggernaut, or are they actually mid-pack team? Because they haven't really blown anyone out too hard this year. They haven't looked that great against even bad teams. So
just coming off a loss in New York and the Meadowlands kind of leads me to think that Detroit, if they keep doing what they're doing, I think Detroit just wins this one easy. I don't think it comes down to a field goal.
I don't think it's close.
No, that's kind of where I'm at. I kind of like the over 49.5 for this game. I'd assume Mixon's going to have to get his, X amount of yards, a touchdown or two.
Mixon will his job. Nico, depending on how good he's feeling, will do his job. But the Lions just have too many options to stop, and the Texas defense, as I said, hasn't been that great. So
I'd agree with that. Should be an exciting Sunday night game, nonetheless. Monday night, we have Miami at the Los Angeles Rams. This could be interesting. Spread's 1.5. I don't know what to expect because every time I think the Rams can't pull something off, they go in their bucket and Stafford's a demon. Even with Kyron Williams last week not looking amazing, from what I remember, they still pulled it off somehow. And Miami's fully healthy again. They put up a gun show compared with Buffalo last week. I'm not sure what to make of this game in the slightest bit. I don't know if you guys have a feeling one way or another about this, but I could see the Rams winning this.
I think it's an offensive battle, honestly. If Puka doesn't get ejected again and Cooper Kupp can keep doing what he's doing and Kyrie can find form, I think it's literally just going to be an offensive battle with not much defense going on.
I could see that.
Kind of like what Jason was talking about with the Bengals Raiders.
Yeah.
Or not Raiders, Ravens.
I got you, man. No worries. I could see it for sure. I mean, Stafford still looks like he can keep up. That's for sure. Especially when you have those two guys. I mean, Puka might have his, standard 150-yard game. 15 receptions or some shit.
2 punches through.
Yeah, 3 elbows.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think this is Tyreek Hill's comeback game of the season. I think Miami will they'll try and spread it again. I don't think they'll use Mostert at all, and they're going to ride with A-Chain as like his pass running back. So I think they're going to go into LA and kind of surprise a lot of people and put up a good fight. It'll be another close game. Hopefully, Monday Night Football curse isn't upon the score, but I still think the Dolphins are either win this game and they're trying to claw back, or they're just not going to do well and kind of start to look forward to next season.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
It should be good. Hopefully it's a 1.5 that's teetering on like an over under of 60, and not a 1.5 that's teetering on a 25 total points scored. But that is the NFL. It's any fucking week. That's it for the Week 10 games. I don't think we've missed anything that I wanted to cover. Is there anything you guys wanted to cover before we close this out? It's only been an hour. This went way later than I expected it to. Apologies to you young men.
I got anything to say.
All right, hell yeah.
I think the only thing we missed was the Raiders cleaning house of firing their offensive coordinator, QB coach, and offensive line coach. I know they have a bye this week, but I don't know why they did all of that. I mean, I guess the Bengals just stopped them too much, but I don't know how they're going to look going forward now.
And Devontae's gone, so there's not many.
Yeah, I mean.
And O'Connell's on IR.
with a broken thumb.
So.
It's the Raiders. What happened to the Chargers just happened to them, and that Mark Davis and that beautiful haircut of his just can't take it anymore. They brought in Norv Turner, the old Raiders head coach, and he's been around the league since then, which I didn't realize until today. Most recently with the Panthers as a quarterback coach, maybe, or some sort of offensive coach. I don't think that'll solve all their issues by any means, but it will be interesting to see if my God, what's their head coach's name? Jason Pierre? No. Pierce?
I can tell you.
Well, regardless, I think it's going to get hot for that head coach, and they've gotten rid of a lot of the players that helped him out, and Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell have not looked like world beaters either. Yeah. So maybe they're in contention for what's it? Is it Shadur Sanders? I'm thinking of for quarterback drafting.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're trying to win that sweepstakes at this point, but cleaning house in that regard does not make total sense to me, but it also does when you're tanking like you are. So I don't have a strong opinion. It's the Raiders. I love seeing them do terrible personally, but it's just funny how that works. You could be there a year, not do enough in a year, and then the owner's like, you're gone. So you have no room to really wiggle with. But it will be interesting watching that team going forward. I don't expect them winning many more games.
Doubt it.
Probably a sneaky one against the Chiefs week 18 when they sit everybody. But we'll have to see. Nevertheless, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you coming out. Remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you all next week. Peace.